The Leeds Rhinos aiming to get to a third grand final in 4 years under coach Tony Smith. Take on Wigan. The playoff specialist Brian Noble is bidding to become the first man to coach a team from sixth to get to Old Trafford. If they do, Noble would be the first coach of two different grand final sides. Meeting Wigan for the sixth time in playoff football. Wigan have won 4, including the first ever grand final. Leeds just the one, 40-12 in 2004. That was a night also when Old Trafford was up for grabs. Then Leeds beat the Bulls in the grand final. Let's take a check on the final lineups of these two teams. Leeds have got Webb at fullback. Then they go Smith, Senior, Tupi and Donald, Maguire and Burrow. The forwards, Luluai, Diskin and Peacock, Jones, Buchanan, Ellis and Sinfield, who's the skipper. Intriguing thing about that is it's 1 to 13 for Leeds, so they got their first choice starting 13 on duty, and on the bench, Lautiti, Bailey, Kirk and Carl Ablett. And the coach, it's his last appearance at Headingley. Will it be his last match in charge of Leeds Rhinos before he takes over at Great Britain? Tony Smith. The Wigan Warriors, they've had the problems this week. Richards is the fullback. Colbon is on one wing. Violicki has moved to the other to cover the broken ankle victim Mark Calderwood. Darryl Goulding gets a start in the centres alongside Phil Bailey. Trent Barrett and Thomas Luluai, probably those two holding the key. They can only weave their magic if this lot get going. It's Fielden, Millard and Palliasina. Hock, Fletcher and O'Loughlin. Hock restored to the starting lineup from the bench last week. It's Mickey High, Paul Prescott, Harrison Hansen and Danny Hill on the bench for Brian Noble. Well, the Warriors denied Leeds a chance of a Wembley appearance here this year. They have won all 3 against the Rhinos in 2007, and in fact they have beaten Leeds in their last 4 encounters. They enter the fray at Headingley high on confidence and big on tashes. Can the men in cherry and white deny Leeds Rhinos again? Leeds produced a massive effort at St Helens last Friday, but the fact is that they've won just 1 of their last 4 and just 4 of their last 9 since, guess who, Wigan beat them at the JJB Stadium on July the 12th. The last win against Wigan, June last year. It was Brian Noble's 7th game in charge, 48-22. And in June of 2005, they beat Wigan here by 70 points to 0. The captain, Kevin Sinfield, only Lewis Jones and Joe Thompson have scored more points in Leeds' long and remarkable history. And little Rob Burrow with Paul Deacon definitely ruled out of the Great Britain Test Series against the Kiwis. A big opportunity for Burrow to stake a claim on the number 7 jersey for his country. Match referee is Steve Ganson, who's been in fine form during this playoff series. He's the man with the whistle. He's just about ready to go. It's 80 minutes or bust for these two teams. Whoever wins gets through to face St Helens next week. Whoever loses, well, they will then begin their preparations for 2008. It's Pat Richards to get the game underway. Here we go, the biggest 80 minutes of 2007 so far for these two teams.
And they will love it, will the Wigan Warriors, that they have the first opportunity to get that defensive line into the face of Leeds, and straight away they have given a penalty. Well, all that rushing forward to make the impact, and they took a time to get off the man. And you've got to point the finger at Brian Fletcher. Fielden was involved yet again, but that will be disappointing for the coach, Brian Noble. He knows that his side has to get off to a tremendous start. They've got to try to get points on the board early.
Great drive forward there by Luluai. Not the start that Brian Noble would have desired. Penalty in the opening minute. Here is Jamie Jones Buchanan. That's good tackling by Millard and company. Palliasina and Fielden adding weight. And look at the bandage and the strapping on the right thigh there of Feka Palliasina, the Wigan prop forward. The Mad Mountain, who missed much of last week against Hull because he suffered a dead leg. He was on the bench. Here is Luluai.
Well, it certainly pinpoint the big prop forward, Palliasina, and rightly so, because it looks to be limping very badly indeed. That's good progress by the Leeds forwards.
This is Danny Maguire now, and he'll chip the ball wide, looking for Tupi or Lee Smith, and Lee Smith claims it, and Lee Smith is just held up short, and that will be the turnover. Immediate and early danger for the Wigan Warriors.
Well, they handled it, Eddie, and that's the important thing. You're going to be tested in the corners. When the team gets to the opposition line, the high kick for the winger is the most obvious play, and it's one that we're going to have seen off on the first occasion. Look at the Leeds defence there. They don't want this game to go for the full 80 minutes, Eddie. They want this over with on about the 60-minute mark, and then they don't have to push their bodies just quite as hard as they did last week.
Well, that's a penalty apiece, and Steve Ganson blows the whistle for offside against the Leeds Rhinos defenders. Too quick out of the blocks.
Well, he's taking control already, the man with the whistle, Steve Ganson. And he had no option. There were 3 or 4 went in front of him. Both these sides eager to get into it. An important night there for the man with the whistle, Steve Ganson. He's got to make sure that both sides get back the full 10.
Steve, I just wanted to take up your point about Feta Palacina, because he is limping, there's no question. He went to take off the mark before when Steve Ganson gave the penalty, and you could see it was hurting him to get off the mark. Here he is taking the ball up now. That's a solid run. He's making me out to be a fool with that, but I've got absolutely no doubt when they don't have the football, Leeds are going to target him, no doubt.
Millard was the dummy half, gets it away to Trent Barrett. Short ball then from Barrett to Fletcher. And he is clawed to ground by Sinfield and Keith Senior. It's Millard again at dummy half. He'll go down the short side, will he? Yes, he will.
Not surprisingly, Eddie, Leeds are having a man-on-man marking. They're not taking any risks. They know the quality of Barrett to miss men out. They've got the blind side.
They have with O'Loughlin, and O'Loughlin is bundled over the line. Donald doing well, Maguire doing well, and Keith Senior doing well.
It's a great lift for any side when you know that they go down the short side and on the attack, that your defence is solid. Good work by the loose forward, O'Loughlin. But they were not going to be fooled with the Leeds outfit on that short left.
Well,
pretty tense start.
Big night for the players, big night for this fellow as well, Steve Ganson, because the fact that St Helens are through to the grand final means that this is probably the last time we will see Steve Ganson in the Super League this year. Steve Ganson from the St Helens area, so is deemed not to be suitable for grand final duty with his hometown team there. So he will look to make his mark, I'm sure, on this final eliminator between the Leeds Rhinos and the Wigan Warriors. And talking about making the mark, how about that from Miller?
Straight into the chest, that's what they needed.
Wigan have done well, Eddie, to control the ruck speed from Leeds. They're getting many bodies into the tackle, and just look, it's taking probably 3 to 4 seconds before the ball comes back into play for Leeds. That's what allowed Shane Miller to get up so quickly, and they've contained a Leeds go forward. Admittedly, good leg drive there from Buchanan, but they've done well there in 5 tackles.
That's tackle, and Sinfield with the kick. He was under pressure. That's a great kick. It finds Tucho on that far side. He was outside the 40-metre zone. This will be head and feed to the Wigan Warriors.
He won't mind that. It's a great kick as well. It's all about field position, because in these opening minutes, the nerves do come into it. He looks pretty calm, doesn't he, Tony Smith? But he knows that Wigan have had the wood of them this year. Can he turn it around?
Both the coaches, Steve-O, in the build-up to this, when Bill interviewed them live for us, they were both so laid back. As I say, they're not going to take the hits and the bashes, are they, over the next 80 minutes? But well, I suppose if they panic and that gets through to the players, it's the wrong move.
Well, both of them don't give away many emotion, but I think deep down under the ribcage there was a little bit of concern. It has to be. Sudden death always brings it about.
That's a drive forward there by Darryl Goulding. Oh, long pass wide, finds Sean O'Loughlin, and it goes further wide to Phil Bailey, and he's on his way to the sideline. Good work by Keith Senior.
Well, I made the point, Eddie. Normally Leeds play a very, very compact defence, slide across, but tonight they're not doing that. And the reason why, because we already saw that lovely long pass from Trent Barrett that got it out wide, but they were all man on man.
You know, it's good work in defence from Scott Donald, isn't it? Technically what he did there, knowing that the sideline could come in to help him, he helped to hold up the body, didn't it? Just watch here, Senior's involved initially, now we're back in here with the scrum. Leeds go wide to Webb.
It's Clinton Tupi for the Leeds Rhinos, and he's being taken towards the sideline by the Wigan defence now on the first tackle, but he stays in the field of play. Here's Maguire to Peacock. Peacock keeps the legs driving. Takes 4 Wigan defenders to bring him down. Leeds are in centre field with Diskin, and now it's with Burrow. Burrow with the short pass to his skipper and close friend Kevin Sinfield.
Great defence there by Sean O'Loughlin. Put the shoulder right into Sinfield.
Kylie Luluwai and Maguire. There's a little dance and a stutter in front of the Wigan defence.
Got to see more of that throughout this game, and he knows it. Got to ask the questions as Maguire.
Burrow, wide pass, finds Gareth Ellis. Good tackling though. Tremendous tackle that by Barrett. Here now is Maguire, will dab the ball to the in-goal area. What a take from Pat Richards. Leeds are claiming a knock-on, but I don't think there was.
Wonderful. Did it bobble?
Maybe.
If it did, it went backwards, according to the official. Either way, under a lot of pressure. This is going to be good work from the Wigan forwards. They have got to make sure they get to the halfway line. Good work by Richards at full-back.
I think we can call that no knock-on, courtesy of benefit of the doubt. There isn't such a rule, of course, but I think that's the way that Steve Ganson was looking at it.
Well, don't
it's
make
a
them up.
wonderful take low down.
Don't make them up, Eddie.
No, that's your job. This is Luluwai. He'll kick it downfield to try and gain some ground, and he went for a 40-20, and he was only about 1.5 metres away from it, Thomas Luluwai.
Did well and put under a lot of pressure as well.
Great kick.
They were zoning in. And again, it's field position, and that they'll just toy with each other, Sean McRae, mainly due to the fact they know that in these nervous opening minutes, they can come up with the errors.
Absolutely, Steve-O. I think Wigan suffered because of the long ball Trent Barrett threw before, so they were very conscious about completing their next set and making sure that they could just sort of get into this arm wrestle. Both sides really are able to get good field position on the back of a good kick and then try and ask some questions, put some pressure on defensively. And, you know, that's probably what you'd expect in a game of this magnitude in the opening exchanges. I think we've got exactly what we thought we would get.
8 minutes, we still wait the first points of this final eliminator in this series that has been absolutely on a knife edge from start to finish. Winning margins of 1 point, 2 points, 3 points and 6 points. That's all that's been between the best 6 sides in the competition so far this year. That's great offload though by Sinfield to Rob Burrow, and here now is Danny Maguire. He tries to go around Millard, gets the ball away then to Webb, and Webb runs laterally, then will straighten it up, and he saw a gap just the other side of Stuart Fielding, who clawed him to the ground, and Burrow waits at dummy half. We'll find Sinfield again. Short ball then to Gareth Ellis, who was standing when he picked that up, and he is wrestled to the ground by Sean O'Loughlin. Still waiting for the first points, even though Leeds are having better of the territory. Long kick out wide again, and Violicki does well. He's underneath that.
Good work by Lee Smith there as well. He was just thinking about maybe making contact and then pulled away at the very last moment. Can't touch a man while he's in the air.
And in the last set of possession Leeds have, we saw what they have, their most dangerous elements, and what Wigan will be most worried about tonight is when a player offloads the ball to a Burrow, a Maguire or a Webb. That's when Leeds' individual pace, your defensive line may be staggered, it's half done its job in stopping the goal forward, but you haven't stopped possession, and that's when Leeds hurt you.
It's Brian Fletcher in possession for the Wigan Warriors. He plays the ball quickly to Millard, but he was watched every inch of the way then by Kevin Sinfield. Last tackle, Wigan still stranded inside their own half of the field, and Barrett with the kick down, but straight into the arms of Brent Webb. Webb, who looks fit as a flea, but who has said that he is not available for New Zealand in the upcoming Test series against Great Britain. He enters hospital for some surgery on an unspecified injury. Here's a penalty, though, for the Leeds Rhinos.
Well, what on earth was going through the mind of Stuart Fielding? He shakes his head, because he knows this is the softest penalty you could ever give away. Millard had done all the hard work, and he just flopped.
Stuart Fielding looking to get to a 7th grand final. Leon Price is already preparing for his number 7 with St Helens next Saturday night. This is Jamie Jones Buchanan now. We'll play the ball here to Diskin. Diskin has a little gallop forward, finds Luluwai, and the much standing square, the Wigan defenders, so a penalty to Leeds, bang in front of the sticks. Fielding again, the man being picked out by Steve Ganson. It wasn't him though, it was Paliasine and it was Millard.
Millard just took a step to the left. I mentioned before the kickoff, you know, the composure is going to play a key part in this game, because you look at Pat Richards, second in the goal scoring for Super League, and of course the man who's about to take this penalty. Kevin Sinfield, he leads the goal-kicking table.
He does indeed, and this is another opportunity for Kevin Sinfield to get his name on the score sheet in a Leeds match this year. He has not played and missed a game this year. Not played and missed a kick at goal, or scoring a try, I should say. He's had a remarkable record this year.
That is a tremendous effort, isn't it, to go through a full season like that.
Game.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what happens now, and you assume he's going to kick this, no matter what happens now, he has achieved that record, even if Leeds bow out. But they are, at the moment, 2 points to the good, courtesy of the skipper's boot. That's Kevin Sinfield. As I said, only Lewis Jones and Joe Thompson have scored more in Leeds colours. It's 1,681 points for Kevin Sinfield now. The most important thing in 2007 is that the Rhinos in this final eliminator have a 2-point lead. And
sometimes when you kick off to start a game and then concede a penalty in the opening set, it can take you 10 or 15 minutes to get back into some good possession. If you imagine it, Leeds have been dominant, they've had good ball, they've been playing in Wigan's half, and Wigan have just been trying to get the way back up into this half of the field. Yet to have possession in Leeds' half of the field.
Danny Maguire's heart must have been in his mouth there. That was a towering kick-off from Pat Richards. It was spiralling. It came out of the night sky, and Maguire got to it at the second time of asking. Leeds still in possession here. Jamie Jones-Buchanan plays it to Matt Diskin. A short ball from him to Sinfield. Under pressure from O'Loughlin, he get the ball back to Diskin.
Good defence by Wigan. They came out very, very quickly out wide, forced them in. Couldn't get the pass away, Leeds.
Burrow.
And that's good play by the little fella, Robbie Burrow. He could see that the Leeds player had just gone in front of him. Would have been a forward pass.
This is Brent Webb. Good defence again on show, though, from Wigan and their skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. It's the last tackle here for Leeds. That's why Kevin Sinfield again puts boot to ball. It bounces and will stay in the field of play. Work here for David Vialicki to do. Gets only as far as Danny Maguire. David Vialicki got a try here last season. He's got 9 tries so far this year. That's his best return in his 3 seasons that he's spent with Wigan.
And Eddie, this is what both sides are very good at. They're good at running the ball down the field, just going through the process of trying to tie a few markers up and then giving it to someone who's got an accurate kick, like Kevin Sinfield. And he was able to change his positioning where he wanted to kick and just put it on the try line there. And now they're asking Wigan some questions. Wigan also have that same ability with people like Trent Barrett and Thomas Lualai, and I'm sure we'll see that soon.
That's Gareth Hock restored to the starting lineup tonight in the second row. And Sean O'Loughlin with a good deep kick, which will find the ground, but will bounce kindly, as it turned out, for Brent Webb. Scott Donald comes back to give Webb the option, and Donald takes the tackle.
Pretty good chase.
Fletcher.
Pretty good chase as well. The one previous to that, they looked a little bit laboured, but they've got themselves. Oh, it luckily popped out of Smith. It went backwards.
And Smith is asking the referee to wipe the tackle count clean there, but Mr. Ganson is unfazed by the request. Here goes Peacock, and he makes the break. Peacock, and he's got Brent Webb, and Leeds will score the first try in the post, courtesy of the New Zealand international Brent Webb. But it was the barnstorming run from Jamie Peacock. 18 playoff ties for Peacock, 16 with the balls under Brian Noble. Set up a gift of a try from halfway for the New Zealand fullback, Brent Webb. 20th try of the campaign, joined second on the Super League try score charts. 2 tries in vain in the home cup defeat against Wigan in May. Brent Webb gives Leeds Rhinos the advantage.
Well, Wigan made it quite clear, and this fella, Palliasina, made it quite clear that he had to keep a tight hold on the big fella, Jamie Peacock. And have a guess who Jamie Peacock ran at? Mr. Palliasina, come and get me. You're the man that said you were going to stop me. Well, I'm sorry you ain't. Neat pass, kept cool. Full back, great support. Brent Webb, the Kiwi, offers the try-scoring list. And don't they enjoy it here? Long way to go. They're smiling now.
They'll be smiling even broader if Kevin Sinfield adds the extras, which I think he will be odds on to do. He does, and it's 8-0 to the Leeds Rhinos.
Well, you know, Wigan have been targeting around that ruck area, and eventually it paid off after 15 minutes.
Tremendous effort. Coming back on the inside. Who does he pick out? Get ready, Mr. Palliacina. You're the man. No, you ain't. Tremendous stuff. Ooh, 50-50 from that angle. But Webb takes it.
Steve, Pat Richards has been one of Wigan's best players over the last couple of months, but I don't think he helped his teammates there. He committed to the tackle on Peacock 40 metres from his own try line, which offered no chance for the supporting players to get back. He had 40 metres of land on which to negotiate there with Jamie Peacock to allow his wingers to get back and get onside for Brent Webb.
8-0, the Leeds Rhinos are ahead, 16, nearly 17 minutes gone on the watch. Let's go down to Bill Arthur on the sideline, injury news.
Well, not so much injury news, Eddie, just the fact that another few seconds and it might have been a different story for the Wigan Warriors, because Feka Palliacina was on the brink of being replaced there. Paul Prescott was out on the sidelines ready to go on, but they couldn't get Palliacina off in time, and the rest is history.
Well, that heavy strapping on Palliacina's thigh almost was a target area for the Leeds Rhinos to aim at.
We made the point, Eddie, that virtually from the kickoff he was limping. It's obviously a gamble by Brian Noble, and I'm afraid he doesn't come off.
No question, Steve-O. We had to get him off the field. We could see, you saw on that try, he didn't go forward. Everybody else went forward except him. He was in trouble.
That's a great ball from Violiki to Luluai. He's halted in the tackle, wasn't impressed by Lee Smith's second effort at him. This now is Darryl Goulding. 19 years of age, 8 tries for Darryl Goulding this season. Brian Fletcher was not convincing as he took that pass from Millard. They're just on the halfway line, the Wigan Warriors, with Thomas Luluai. There's the kick again. He'll drill it all along the deck and will find touch just about 7-8 metres away from the Leeds Rhinos try line.
Interesting tactics there by Wigan. Luluai kicking on the fourth, not waiting till the last. Obviously making sure that the winger had not got back, which you can see he hadn't. Lee Smith grounded in there. They will hope that their defence, which I must say for the last game against Holland in the second half against Bradford, was quite superb, and they'll hope that they can force the error.
Eddie, I think if Wigan have got any chance of winning here tonight, the number 7, Thomas Luluai, needs to have a big game. He probably owes his teammates something. At fault for several tries in the last few weeks. He needs to find something special. Attacking the line is when he's at his best, and here's a great chance. Oh no, penalty to Leeds.
Well, I was just going to praise the official for not penalising in the first place, but you can see Lachlan has moved the leg. States quite clearly in the rule book that you've got to roll away. You can't blame him for that, but from that point there, he should have moved. And he didn't. He just did a little lunge with the leg, and it was sufficient. They're losing the way a bit of Wigan at the moment.
Well, Sinfield breathes a little sigh of relief there because of that. Wigan, you know, would love to be ahead at half-time, as Phil said in the build-up. They've won all 10 matches in which they have held an interval lead, but Wigan fans, no need to be downhearted. They have erased a half-time deficit on 9 occasions.
Well, they've done it the 2 weeks on the trot, haven't they? Bradford and Hull. They came back in the second half and pinched the game. Can they do it again?
He wasn't tackled, Rob Burrow. That's why the pass is allowed to Brent Webb. Here now is Danny Maguire. The Wigan supporters are furious, and a great ball from Maguire finds Senior, and Senior has Ellis in support, and Ellis gets it away to Burrow. They're cutting Wigan to shreds at the moment. This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Here is Clinton Tupy, and Clinton Tupy keeps it alive again to Maguire. This is vintage Leeds stuff at the moment.
They're asking the question, are they ever? But full credit to Wigan, they got back in numbers. I don't know how they did.
Long pass finds Gareth Ellis. Gareth Ellis bumps, gets the ball away.
Play on.
Has lost it. And 6 to go for the Leeds Rhinos, says Steve Gerson. Here is Luluai. This is a big test now of the Wigan defence. It's an even bigger test because Leeds have a penalty for a high shot.
They'll be quite happy to give away the possible 2 rather than the inevitable 6, which I felt was coming. They are well and truly on the rack.
Safety first here from Leeds. They're taking the 2 on offer.
They've got to do it as well. It was Barrett that went round the throat. And I'm glad to see that the officials are definitely stopping. There's the incident where you can see where Millard had a chance to get into football. The second go at it, he knocked on. That's when he went back to 6. And I think Wigan were quite happy to allow the coach to send down the message to this fella, Mr. Sinfield, go for the 2. Shouldn't be too difficult.
That's the angle he has, and he's only 10 metres away. We've made the point a couple of times this season just how shallow Kevin Sinfield takes his kicks at goal. He's only 10 metres off the goal line, the angle of 13 degrees, but that's the way he loves it. That's the way he has been so successful this year. It's his third successful kick of the night, and Leeds are now ahead 10-0.
And fully deserved it as well. It's been an impressive opening by the Rhinos. They've taken control. There was a point there a couple of seconds ago when you thought of yourself that Wigan, they were really stretched, Phil, and I really feared for them.
Well, do you know what? I'm just thinking they've just lost the opening 20 minutes. Would you go for a short kick-off here? Because the long kick option, they're obviously prepared to go 80 minutes, but they can't get their hands on the ball in Leeds half of the field. And the longer the game goes, just the more their energy is draining, the more the minds start to feel sorry for themselves, and the more Leeds are up in the ante.
And they brought Ryan Bailey off the bench, who will be fresh, because Ryan Bailey, making his 149th appearance for Leeds here, maybe the 150th will come at Old Trafford. He's missed the last 2 matches, so he is fit as a fiddle. This is Burrow, and now it's with Sinfield again.
Pretty impressive on the Rhinos. They're interested in trying to offload it. Every opportunity, they're twisting in the tackle.
The first 5 grand finals in this series have been competed by first against second at Old Trafford. In fact, 7 of the 9 have featured the top and second place team after the regular weekly rounds. And at the moment, that's what we're on course for. St Helens top, Leeds finished second after the 27 weekly rounds of 2007. And at the moment, Leeds are about to play St Helens next Saturday. But you know what we were saying at Bradford just a couple of weeks ago.
Neat work. On this occasion, the Warriors trying to keep it alive, but pretty solid defence. They were making movement forward. Oh, that looks high.
Referee has got whistle to mouth. He will give the penalty to Wigan for the high shot by Jamie Peacock on Gareth Hock.
Yeah. Went right into the neck area. No doubt about it. No swinging arm, but they will not stand up for this, and rightly so by the officials.
Eddie, and the game starts now for Wigan. 23.5 minutes. They've got a chance to see whether Leeds' defence is up to it.
Mickey Hyams restarts and finds Lulawai, finds Barrett. Barrett then will pop the ball back. And here is Harrison Hansen. Brian Noble has already rung the changes. This is O'Loughlin. Now it's with Trent Barrett again, who comes in and he slips into the challenge from Gareth Ellis. Gareth Ellis was uncompromising in his tackle on the Australian. It's Harrison Hansen again. Hansen, who got a try against the Bulls at Odsal 2 weeks ago. It sparked the revival. Here is Lulawai. And the Leeds defence stands firm on 4 tackles.
What's for Barrett? Missing 2 men out.
It's Mickey Hyam. Barrett just threw his hands up in the air then. He wanted the ball fed to him quicker than that. Never came. It might come now. There it does. A little stab to the in-goal area, bouncing everywhere. Oh. They get away with it, Leeds. They really do. A drop out underneath their own sticks coming up.
He was putting a lot of pressure, definitely touched there. That will give them an extra set of 6 and lift their confidence.
As you say, Phil, this is where the game starts for Wigan. You agree, Sean, yeah?
Absolutely. I think that this is what Wigan have been looking for. They've been looking for a repeat set. They've had to get a repeat set. That's something you need in this game to get your momentum flowing. Leeds have probably dominated for the first 25 minutes and totally dominated, as we see the young man there walking through with that's the trophy for the under-18s, the junior academy, which Leeds won, I think, 26-16 over St Helens.
Yes, you saw a lot of that match, Sean. Some excellent young talent out there.
Very impressive game. We watched the game last week, Eddie, where St Helens beat the Wigan side to knock Wigan out, and that was a terrific game. This game tonight was probably of just a slightly higher standard. But enough of that, and back to the Super League.
Indeed so. Leeds hoping to make it a clean sweep of grand final appearances. They're hoping to get to Old Trafford, their senior academy tomorrow, taking on Hull. But Wigan might have a word or two to say about all this here.
Interesting to see how Wigan are just keeping it, sending it out wide. They're not bothering going down the middle.
Barrett's the go-to man. He finds Lulawai. Cut-out ball then finds Gareth Hock, who backs himself. Ball is given then to Violicki. Violicki bounces off one, and the defenders come over. The ball is dropped in the end, and the referee will bring them back for the knock-on. It's terrific Leeds defence. Look at the spirit there. But credit Wigan, because they're keeping this ball alive and they're looking to get over this line and get themselves back into a match.
Well, they're screaming that the ball had gone back inside, and I think they've got it right, you know. It should have been play on.
I think it's a knock-on given Steve-O against Wigan in what happened after that.
You've battered me again.
We'll watch.
But as you say, good defence by Leeds. They got back in numbers, didn't they?
Are the two Jamie Peacocks playing this game? He was all over the field last week at Knowsley Road. Now he's throwing David Violecki over the sideline.
And there's a knock-on just to confirm it. But I'm with you. I really feel that Wigan realise that the combination of Barrett and Luluwai, they've got to keep swinging this ball out wide. That's been their success over the last two games.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve-O, but you can only do it if you've got opportunities. And I don't think Wigan tonight have had many opportunities. We've barely seen them play inside Leeds half. They've been doing a lot of defending and they've been bringing the ball out from their try line. So you need a penalty or a repeat set, as we've just seen, to enable those players that have got a bit of flair and finesse to show their talent.
It's Peacock again for Leeds Rhinos on the last, just over halfway. There's the ball here to Brent Webb, and Maguire taking no risks. Finds touch over on that far side. And whenever they've had penalties in kickable positions tonight, Leeds have kicked them.
It's been a professional,
no-risk strategy.
Very professional performance so far. Interesting, Sean, the way that Leeds are utilising Brent Webb, Rob Barrow and Matt Diskin running into the dummy half. They're just changing places. It's confusing Wigan.
Absolutely, and they've got a game plan there where they've obviously got some targets in the Wigan defensive line they want to get to. And you know, the Danny Maguire kick into touch before, to me, that's just a sign of composure. That's a sign of a team that's prepared to be patient. They're playing with confidence, and they're quite prepared now to just go through their sets of six and see what happens from it. Wigan, to me, haven't quite settled to the same point that Leeds have, so you might see now they may take a few tricks, may have a few tricks up their sleeve where they have to start popping a couple of passes, maybe taking a few risks.
Gained a bit of ground here, Wigan, by the virtue of the fact that the pack of forwards broke from the scrum before the ball had cleared the ruck, and so here they are on the attack inside Leeds territory. That's the third tackle, though.
He's a man, Mickey Hyam, to get this Wigan team on the roll. Delayed pass,
great ball.
Did well to get onto it.
Barrett found Gareth Hock. He plays the ball quickly. Here is fielded. It's Barrett again. A little dab over the top, inventive. And they're going to get another set of six. Little chip over the top by Licky hunting the mistake. Brent Webb to the rescue. But another goal line dropout here that Wigan have forced. The second one.
Great tactics. You see how the ball was spinning backwards. He knew exactly what he was going to do there, Trent Barrett. Just kicked at the bottom of the ball as it went over the top, spinning backwards. Always going to put pressure on the Leeds defence. Full credit, though. They got there in numbers.
Wigan attacking the end of the Headingley ground, which all their supporters are massed behind the posts. About 6,000 or 7,000 have made the journey across from the JJB Stadium to Headingley here tonight to get behind their team. Such is the belief in that particular part of the world after this incredible run that they've had to within 80 minutes of yet another grand final. And they are enjoying their best spell of the match right now. This is Fielden.
They really need to put points on the board, even if they can just gain a penalty, maybe just settle things down, take it 2 points.
Good defence, though, so far from the Leeds Rhinos. It's Mickey Hyam, and now Luluwai. Here is Gareth Hock. Gareth Hock dumps the ball down brilliantly to Darryl Goulding. It's a penalty. A penalty to Wigan. More pressure on this Leeds Rhinos line. They've had a good 10 minutes.
But as I say before, Eddie, they've got to make sure they get points on. They'll just take the tap here. They are spinning out wide. Maybe they could just bring this defence in with a little bit more work from the forwards. Try to just take him away and then utilise Barrett or Luluwai with a wide pass.
Here is Barrett again, wants to be involved in absolutely everything. He gets Wigan to within 3 metres of the line, eventually goes down under the pressure from Bailey's challenge. Mickey Hyam quickly out of dummy half. It's a shame that the ball was knocked forward. Hyam touches it down, but young Darryl Goulding couldn't take the pass in with the line beckoning.
What about the tackle from Rob Barrow? Apply the pressure. It was just in front. Barrow was launching himself at the right time. He may be short to the ground, but I tell you what, he's a pocket battleship, isn't he, Beep Beep?
You know, Steve-O, sometimes people ask me what the difference is between in playoff teams. Why do teams make the playoffs and why are teams successful in the playoffs? And part of the reason is the fact that these teams have an ability to apply pressure but also absorb pressure. And that's what we've seen perhaps in the last few minutes. Wigan have just gone attack rate, attack rate, attack rate, but Leeds have been able to absorb that pressure. And I think that's what separates the sides that get to this standard and perhaps the teams that miss out.
It's Peacock again. Down he goes on tackle number 3. Brent Webb and Big Ali Lawatiti thought about the pass around the corner, then thought better of it. Sinfield, Maguire, Ellis. Good tackling by Wigan. What have Leeds got here in the locker with the kick from Sinfield? It's a dab down the left-hand side. Pat Richards is after this, and Leeds are after him.
Tremendous kick and chase.
And Maguire leading the way.
Yeah, they're up for this one. The tactics yet again. We keep saying it's been a professional performance. Oh, did well to hang on to that. And again, look at the quality and the strength. Good offload.
Fantastic
offload.
Was
that forward?
Well, the referee and touch judge thought not. Wigan taking a risk, getting away with it. Here is Luluai. It's Gareth Hock again. Tupi standing his ground. Offside Leeds. Pressure's building on the Rhinos here.
It was good work though by Wigan. They get on with the game. Offload, but as soon as he got tackled, played the ball quickly, and then took it down the blind side.
Oh. Just take a look at this, because he has not found touch. Trent Barrett of all people. But he's there leading the chase on Lee Smith, but Lee Smith has picked it up. He got a 100-metre try last week.
Great play by the Wigan. That is wonderful stuff.
That was a poor error from Trent Barrett. This is now Titi. He gets it wide to Donald. Leeds are on the counter. Oh, what a great ankle tap that was.
It shouldn't have been, though. Donald should have been going as fast as he could. He was more interested in looking for the support player on the inside.
Phil Bailey to the rescue for Wigan, but for how long? Here is Burrow.
That is a try just blown there, I feel. Donald should have gone right for the corner, then started to look for the support.
Sinfield gets the pass inside to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. He takes the 4th tackle, this set of 6, and Sinfield flies into dummy half. We'll give it then to Jamie Peacock again. He's taking them on, standing with them toe-to-toe, slugging it out 10 metres away on the last tackle.
Kick into the corner, get it in the in-goal area, get the second set.
It's with Maguire. Wide he goes to Donald, back on the inside to Senior. And a dab to the in-goal area, and it runs just dead.
Was the ball carrying arm on the deck when Senior passed it? Perhaps not. Either way, full credit to the Warriors that got back in numbers, but they know the man that's passed the ball back on the inside there, Scott Donald, really should have gone for broke, then start looking for the support. He was doing it the opposite way around. He was looking and then wanted to run.
Fantastic work from Keith Senior, keeping his hand off the ground, ball carrying off the ground.
It's a knock on.
The referee is asking what happened, and he says he's going to have to give the knock on.
He looked to both touch judges and he didn't get a nod from either. Fletcher is totally bemused, and I think he's lost it. He just lost control of it.
Ryan Bailey looks the picture of innocence.
Was there a hand in it?
Fletcher's convinced there was. The referee asked everybody what went on.
Well, to be fair,
judges said nothing. Man in the stand said nothing. It's a scrum down, knock on.
To be fair, they're not having the rub of the green at the moment to the cherry and whites.
I wonder if this is a set where they kill them off just before half-time. Trent Barrett's error, not finding touch, and Leeds almost scored off that now. Another error. They're obviously fatiguing at Wigan, and they just need to hang on for another 5 minutes. They'd love to go in 10-0 down, if not better. Certainly not worse.
Sinfield and Lawatiti. Is this the man, Lawatiti? He has not had the greatest of seasons. Is this the man who just might have the X factor for Leeds in this run in the playoffs? It's Maguire. He just comes inside on his own, Maguire. Hyam was after him and got to him. So too did Fletcher. It's Peacock, and he's held up just short.
Hansen just hammered him.
Last tackle here. Sinfield, that was off the legs. Bailey's after it. Bailey will have to be quick, and is.
Get up, get up.
And he's wiping the tackle count down. I think Bailey's hurt there. he was going to kick on the arm as he retrieved that ball because there was a Wigan man hunting.
Yeah, it doesn't look right. Maybe he got a bit of a knock on the head.
Great run from Ian Kirk.
He's thrown out the big fellas at him now.
This is Sinfield. And Sinfield running flat and then looking for the gap. It nearly opened up for him. Desperate moments these for Wigan. Maguire and Lautiti! Lautiti gets the try. 4 minutes before half-time. Just one start this year in the second row for Ali Lautiti. That was in the first round at Salford. He's been a substitute in 9 of the last 10 after 5 out injured. There was a bit of argy-bargy after the try was scored by Lautiti. Referee is having words.
It's so important about the 4 players you select on the bench. When Tony Smith threw out the big fella, Lautiti, who I must say has struggled throughout this year to really hit top form, but that was nothing short of superb. He's made a nuisance of himself ever since he came off the bench. This is the error. Fletcher was deemed to have lost control of that. Back on the inside. That's a tired defence, and not surprising the way that Leeds have thrown everything at this Wigan side. An important try. Sean McRae called it. Could they just finish it off? But you can't say that about this Wigan outfit. Remember, Bradford, half-time, down 30 points to 6. Are they done, Phil?
The way Leeds celebrated, I think that they believe now that that's, well, it's not job over, but they're sufficiently now. That was a killer point. They needed to score for their own satisfaction at half-time, to go in thinking that we've dominated this first 40-minute period. But the scoreboard doesn't say that. Now all of a sudden there's a slightly different complexion to the match, and if Sinfield can put this kick over, I don't believe Wigan will come back.
That's a big call after what happened at Odsal in the first week of the playoffs.
I said they wouldn't come back at 30 points to 6.
We all did. We all did, to be fair to you. But Ali Lautiti and Brent Webb, two of the, in fact, the 2 try scorers for Leeds in this first half. Ryan McLennan, the former New Zealand international coach, will be coming over to take over from Tony Smith next year. Won't he be pleased about that? And won't he be pleased also with the goal kicking of this fellow, Kevin Sinfield, the skipper? It's 16-0.
There's a kick through. Bailey, did he maybe caught his head, but I don't think he knew what he was doing there. But this fella called Lautiti did. Maguire's having a storming match. He's building in confidence. He knows at the back of his mind, Danny Maguire, he has to have a good game, because he knows that Leon Price perhaps has the edge on him in regard. Oh, how can he come up with that?
Well,
that is sensational.
That's the second time he's got out of jail.
He certainly has, and that is wonderful. I'm just making the point, if he's any chance of making the Great Britain's to starting line, he's got to really play out of his skin tonight, and he's doing it.
He's also got to play out of his skin in the grand final to get on the top of Leon Price next week if Leeds Rhinos get there. At the moment, they've got 1 foot in Old Trafford. They lead 16-0, but how about the kickoffs from Pat Richards that are causing Danny Maguire such problems when ball's in the air, Phil?
It's a spiral twisting kick. It's one of the most difficult things you've got to do when you play against Wigan. Receive possession when Pat Richards kicks off. He's dealt with it twice. And Peacock, well, last week I thought he was amazing. Probably the best player on the field for both sides. And he started his first 40 minutes with the determination he's going to play in Manchester next Saturday night.
It's a great crossfield kick. It puts Lynn Coleman under all sorts of pressure. And a wonderful chase by Senior and Donald.
Well, they've only had 1 bad kick throughout this first half from the Leeds Rhinos. Everything will be pleasing their coach, Tony Smith, and rightly so. It has been a professional performance. Take nothing away from Wigan. They are really trying, but they're finding it difficult to get through an equally strong defence from the Rhinos.
It's a great offload, that to Vialicki. This is why Wigan are now at the halfway line with Thomas Luluayan a little bit further forward on tackle number 4. Brian Fletcher's at dummy half. They'll come down this short side with Trent Barrett. Oh, great work from Ian Kirk.
Smothered. They've got to get some height on this.
Well, Luluayan might try that, and he does under pressure from Kirk. But one of the best in the world, he marks the kick downfield, Brent Webb. and then just comes forward a few metres. He knows they're in the last minute. He knows they'll take a 16-0 advantage into the half-time changing rooms with them if they hang on to this football for this set of 6. And Leeds believe they've got 1 foot in Old Trafford right now. They believe that 2007 is in their destiny to get to Old Trafford to face St Helens
Tony
again.
Smith will not be mentioning that, Eddie. He will not mention Old Trafford 1 iota. He'll be saying, OK, job well done, 40. We got another 40 to go through it. Let's do exactly the same, control the game. Kick and chase was superb. That's all he needs.
Sinfield finds Ellis, and Ellis is standing.
It's been impressive, hasn't it, the way that the Leeds forwards have just been turning around in the tackle, the offload, and again, the kick into the corner. That'll do it.
Great kick from Kevin Sinfield. He knows that the seconds were ticking away. That'll do us. Tony Smith, he has masterminded a superb first half here, and the supporters in the South Stand absolutely delighted. They believe they're unstoppable, but remember what happened at Odsal just a couple of short weeks ago. It's 16-0 to Leeds Rhinos here. We had discounted the Wigan Warriors at Bradford, but then Wigan came up off the deck and stunned everybody. Can they do it again?